Hey guys, Sambobu here. Today we're going to learn how to last longer than 30 seconds against Sisyphus in bed. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you've at the very least P-ranked P-2 on Violent difficulty and beat Radiant Minos. If not, I highly encourage you to do so. Just do it and then come back later. If you're still here, I suggest you relax and get some snacks, because it's going to be a long video. Okay, let's get to it. Radiant Sisyphus is the definition of unfair. He pulls out random bullshit out of his ass and makes you want to commit a few war crimes. First of all, his movement. Sisyphus moves based on your movement. He's going to predict your movements and teleport based on that. For example, if you're sliding forward in a single direction, he's going to teleport ahead of you so that you run into his fist face first. This mechanic can be used to your advantage, for example by feinting him and using it to figure out where he will teleport next. As long as you look straight and move forward or stay still, he's always going to teleport right in front of you. If you lose control of your own movements, the fight will become a clusterfuck where Sisyphus will teleport at random directions all around. This includes teleporting behind you. But he will generally teleport in front of you most of the fight and for the entirety of the fight if you do it properly. The most important thing in this fight is to keep track of where Sisyphus is. For this entire fight, you should be looking where he is, nowhere else. For this fight, you need to memorize Sisyphus' attack patterns, and I mean memorize. Like, you need to be hearing this fucker's voice in your sleep.
You can't escape.
Fun fact, I can no longer sleep without war constantly playing inside my head, because I've heard it for fucking hours on end multiple times. By the end of this guide, you should be parrying this motherfucker's attack out of pure muscle memory. Make sure to both use the shotgun parry and the normal parry at the same time to maximize parry damage. Shoot the shotgun first and then immediately parry. Sometimes this will cause a projectile boost, but it won't affect you much since you're going to be dashing after the tag anyways. Also, turn the subtitles on, cause it'll help a lot, trust me. Minos and Sisyphus both use a stamina mechanic, where they have a set amount of stamina that recharges over time, and every move uses up a specific amount of stamina. Without stamina, they will not be able to do any moves. On Violent difficulty, Sisyphus has 8 stamina in phase 1 and 16 stamina in phase 2. It is not known whether Radiance affects stamina, but most likely it only speeds up the time it takes for Sisyphus' stamina to recharge.
You can't escape.
Sisyphus has 4 attacks that he announces, and all of them are parryable. The first is You Can't Escape, where he launches 4 melee attacks in succession, with the last hit being parryable. This attack costs 3 stamina. Every attack does 45 damage, which is almost half your health, except the shockwave which does 38 damage. This attack will be basically your breathing room, where you can set up sword traps or just relax a little. For this attack, Sisyphus will always teleport to the side before attacking. This can change if you are changing directions at rapid speeds, so I suggest you stand still before he attacks, so that you can easily predict his movement. Avoid the first attack by dashing, then turn the camera towards Sisyphus and slide to the side. All his attacks will be launched while moving towards you, so sliding to the sides will mostly do the job. The third attack can also just be ignored, as if you're sliding, your hitbox will be too small for Sisyphus to hit. Right before the 4th hit, stop sliding, jump forwards to where Sisyphus will teleport, parry, then dash backwards towards where Sisyphus stomps in order to avoid the shockwave. Do not dash, as this will be a waste. You can also parry, dash and then jump, which will most likely cause you to parry him in the Sisyphus. You can do what's preferred, and note that this is the only attack that can be avoided by sliding. Every other attack needs a dash to dodge, or is just very inconsistent, so it's better to dash anyways. You can also just go really fast and avoid this attack easily by dash jumping, or rocket slide jumping, or even just dashing towards Sisyphus or to the sides and then sliding. But these methods will not work on higher Radiance tiers. The next attack is Be Gone. This attack is very easy to parry. Just stand there, wait for him to attack, and then parry him and dash to the side. The melee attack does 45 damage while the shockwave does 38. This attack costs 1 stamina. Destroy is an attack where Sisyphus launches himself towards you with an uppercut, then sprays magic explodey sand towards your general area. The uppercut does 45 damage while the explosion does 23. The glitter bomb also predicts your movements, and the timing on this thing will be a little weird. Move backwards, and once Sisyphus teleports, dash backwards, and parry once the parry window appears. As for the exploding curry powder, it can be dodged by dashing, but it's not advisable since Sisyphus will launch another attack as it explodes, which really fucks up your awareness. I recommend immediately rocket slide jumping out of there and then ground slamming once you're out of the explosion, and Sisyphus has done his attack. Just make sure you rocket slide jump after the glitter bomb appears as it tracks your movement, and if you do it too early, it's going to appear where you're flying towards. If this happens, try to ground slam and get out there as fast as possible. You can also move forward for this attack, and in fact even if you just walk forward in Sisyphus' direction, Sisyphus will actually end up not hitting you at all, although you still need to dodge the explosion. Sometimes if you're too close to him, he'll still hit you, so make sure to start moving towards him after he begins to say destroy. You can still parry this attack by dashing towards him as he says destroy. This attack costs 3 stamina. For now, this attack will be a nice little handicap for the player. This attack is very easy to parry, gives you some breathing room, and staggers Sisyphus for a very brief moment. However, at higher tiers, this attack becomes an absolute bullshit because you have stamina and he explodes after like a millisecond and kills you instantly. This attack does 75 damage at close range and 50 for longer ranges. The radius of the explosions also increases at certain Radiant tiers. For this attack, immediately dash, slide jump, whiplash, whatever you can do to get yourself to him the fastest, and parry the motherfucker right up his tiny little butthole. Most likely, the rail cannon will also be ready by this point, to perform another rail coin punch or send a rail coin after parrying. He will immediately follow up with another attack, so be ready to either dodge or to parry. This attack costs 1 stamina. There are 3 unannounced attacks, only one being parryable, which is the roundhouse kick. This move is basically the same as Be Gone, except it's more annoying, because it's not announced, and at times he launches them from too far away, so you can't parry it. The best way to deal with this attack is to stand still and parry it when he appears. It is preferable to dash to the front compared to the back and side, as sometimes you'll get hit. He actually does 2 kicks, which is why you sometimes get hit even after you move out of the way. This attack does 45 damage. The first unparryable attack is the overhand, and it does 45 damage, and costs 1 stamina. All unparryable attacks have this unique sound cue, so you will know to dodge immediately. This attack will also be indicated by a blue flash. This attack behaves like Be Gone and the roundhouse kick, except it's unparryable, so all you have to do is dash out of the way. One thing about this attack, however, is that the hitbox for this attack disappears after Sisyphus does. So you'll sometimes get some interesting effects. So make sure not to walk into the red stuff because that's a hitbox, just don't move into the attack. And this can actually happen with a lot of the other attacks as well, just less frequently. The most bullshit attack out of Sisyphus' arsenal is the Grand Slam, or at least it is in the higher tiers. He teleports to the sky out of your view and then Grand Slams, creating a shockwave. This is also an unparryable attack, so it will have the sound cue and the blue flash. The Grand Slam does 45 damage and the shockwave does 38. This attack costs 1 stamina. As soon as you see Sisyphus disappear with the unparryable sound cue, immediately dash and then jump. Immediately move towards Sisyphus again and then Grand Slam to minimize time spent in the air. This will rely heavily on your reaction time as you have to dodge both the slam and the shockwave. You can use the dash jump, but it's better to time it properly and not use it because it creates too many variables, like the cost of 2 stamina bars instead of 1, and how Sisyphus' movements will become harder to predict. If you're fast enough, you can use a slide instead of a dash.
Nice try.
Sisyphus has a taunt where he says "nice try" and shits on you for not being able to beat him, causing irreparable psychological damage. To fix this problem, you need to either rail coin punch, set the sword traps, or shotgun him for health. The priority is in that order. Sisyphus will occasionally taunt you when he has done over 10 attacks in phase 1 and when he has done over 15 attacks in phase 2 and has used stamina and has more than 20 health. You can't really predict this, so just use it well. This attack costs 2 stamina. Sisyphus' attacks can also be categorized into 2 different types, quick and slow. Slow attacks are "you can't escape", "destroy", and "this will hurt", where Sisyphus stands still for a brief moment before doing the attack. There are also multiple attacks or very strong ones. Quick attacks are the rest: "Be Gone", the roundhouse kick, Grand Slam, and the overhand. Sisyphus' attack patterns have a predetermined order to them. The fight will always start with 1 to 3 quick attacks, followed by a "you can't escape", followed by 1 to 3 quick attacks, and then a destroy, followed by another 1 to 3 quick attacks, then usually a "this will hurt". However, sometimes he will repeat a "you can't escape", or another destroy, or even both before doing his impression of the upcoming Oppenheimer film. All you need to know is that you have to survive the quick volley of unparryable and parryable attacks in quick succession, and then get ready for the big ones. Remember the order: "you can't escape", destroy, then usually a "this will hurt". The fight always starts with a 1 or 3 quick attacks, and then a "you can't escape", and then destroy combo. Something to note is that whenever you're in the air, Sisyphus will exclusively do quick attacks and will never stop until you touch the ground. If he has done less than 3 quick attacks, he may continue doing them before getting ready with the slow attacks. And if he has done 3 or more of them, he will do the next slow attack the moment he lands on the ground. Another thing to note is that his taunt does not affect the attack order whatsoever, except for the fact that he pauses to tell you to get good at the game before shitting on you. Healing will not be too much of a problem during this fight, as you will constantly be healed through the parries and by setting out sword traps. The thing that's actually going to be a problem is the hard damage, so make sure to not get hit as much as possible, and to keep the star meter high by switching weapons a lot. Although all the constant parrying will help a lot with that. But if you do find yourself in a situation where you need to heal as fast as possible, such as if you're out of stamina and Sisyphus is about to do an attack that can't be parried, and sword traps haven't been placed, try to use the double pump shotgun at point blank range and shotgun swap. As Sisyphus' healing range is very short, you will need to be very close to him. If it's a really bad situation, use the electric rail cannon, or even worse, the screwdriver rail cannon. But if you do use the screwdriver, remember that the next time you punch Sisyphus, no matter what, the screw will be sent flying away and the healing will stop. You can still parry him, it's just that the screwdriver's healing will end early. So honestly, the screwdriver rail cannon isn't even really worth it, because you can't parry in a parry focused fight. The healing also won't help much if you're going to take damage anyways, because the hard damage stacks up so fast, because on Radiant's difficulty he does so much damage. It only takes around 4 or 5, like maybe 6 hits before the hard damage stacks up so much that you'll die in a single hit. You must remain on the ground for this fight. Being on the ground will be your top priority, as when you're in the air, Sisyphus will pull out a bunch of mystical bullshit, and your only options will be to dash in the air or to ground slam. His teleport also gets very weird in the air, and sometimes he attacks from afar, where you can't parry him. Once you're in the air, immediately ground slam back down, unless an attack prevents you, such as the ground slam. You can parry him in the air, just that it's just a lot harder and it's a lot more situational. As for your main arsenal, it should be the Marksman Revolver, Slap Piercer Revolver, Pump Charge Shotgun, Magnet and Overheat Sword Blades, and Electric Rail Cannon. If the fight is too hard, you can admit defeat and use the Screwdriver Rail Cannon. If you do this, I will say skill issue and make fun of you. As for the other weapons such as the rocket launchers, you won't really need them during the fight because they don't really do much or help you much. And other arms, such as the Knuckle Blaster, you won't need them. Like the Knuckle Blaster, you won't need it at all. You won't be using it because you'll be constantly parrying throughout this fight. When the fight starts, place a sword trap and perform a rail coin punch. He will immediately launch an attack right after the little pause at the start. During this entire fight, you will need to be ready to parry him at any time in quick succession. Sisyphus will do 1 or 3 attacks which will either be parryable or unparryable. Remember what I said about the slow and quick attacks. When he prepares you can't escape, overpump your green shotgun, or just pump it twice if you want to be safe, to maximize damage when parrying. During the little pauses after Sisyphus' attacks, try to use the other weapons such as the ricochet from the marksman, or pro boosting and shooting the rockets, in order to keep the stun meter high, and to maximize the DPS. I prefer to ricochet right after parrying you can't escape, and whenever he pauses for a bit, I use the charge shot from the Slap Revolver. If you do use the Slap Piercer, just get ready to parry and dodge at the same time, as it takes a second or 4 or so for it to charge, which is way too fucking long. For the next 1 to 3 quick attacks, use the shotgun parry and normal parry at the same time like I told you to, and avoid the attacks to the best of your abilities. When he does destroy, parry him and get ready for the next attacks, and the same for This Will Hurt. After This Will Hurt, he will go back to You Can't Escape, and the fight loops around and creates a pattern. He will never do 2 This Will Hurts in a row. After This Will Hurt, he will always either do a You Can't Escape or a Destroy. When phase 2 starts, that's when the fight starts for real, and it will be a very short period as either he will rend you apart in milliseconds or you will do so to him. During phase 2, Sisyphus will attack at faster rates and he will not pause at all. This can mean certain things like him doing 2 quick attacks of the Destroy while the explosion happens, and he will attack you when you're in the air because you have to jump in order to avoid shockwaves. This is the most dangerous moment of the fight. Immediately ground slam unless shockwaves or attacks prevent you. Parry the attacks if you can, but it will be very difficult. Basically during phase 2, the fight gets twice as fast and there will be no pauses in between the attacks. So in summary, learn his attack patterns, know when to dash and slide, predict his movements, parry every 2 fucking microseconds, set up sword traps, stay on the ground, and always keep a track of where Sisyphus is. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to show a little demonstration from me, so watch it, go over the video and try to see what I did right and what I did wrong. I hope you use this guide well, and have fun being fucked in the ass by Sisyphus' giant cock. There will also be a Radiant tier 2 and 3 vid coming out who knows when, and I will also do guides on Radiant Minus and other enemies. Check out my other videos like this one that shows my absolute masochism. Thank you for watching this video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and see ya.
Keep them coming!